Matty Fresh on the track up at State. And I'm bringing to you live my boys Alec and Nate. Tequila Ty, Jay, Nelly, and Zillin in the building. So kick it back, pour the drink. We chillin' because I'm boozing and betting and ballin' like I'm 2-6 in the blue kicks. Watch me move quick. Yeah, this the blueprint. So who's getting involved? Welcome into the show. This is Booze, Bets, and Ball, baby.
Welcome back to Booze, Bets, and Ball, and Happy New Year, because we get a Happy New Year start this year because Penn State wins the Rose Bowl 35-21. Jay Nelly called it. He had it coming. Actually, we all predicted it. Nate and I had it in our prediction show we did, I guess, about a week and a half before the game. I thought it would be close. I think if Cam Rising didn't get hurt, it might have been close, but the way I looked at it, Penn State was starting to kind of pull away in the second half. The Utah defense, to my surprise, did not play well at all. I thought Penn State really got them with some big plays in the second half.
They gave up plays of 27, 28, 88, and 87 at least, right? So then there might be more because it's just, so they really, Penn State averaged 8-point-something yards per play, 8.4 or 8.7 yards per play, which is probably their best showing of the year if I had to make a guess off the top of my head. So,
I mean, Utah's defense, they got pressure. I just think Clifford, really played well, even under pressure for once. He just played his best game, by far. So,
the rollout pass to Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Yeah, that was really good.
When he hit that, I was kind of like, okay, they're not losing this game when I saw that happen.
The one that did it for me was when he hit Brenton Strange down the middle, in a window of 4 guys, right, and just threw it about 6 inches over the one dude running away from the ball, and that was perfect. So
I think that might have been Theo, but same.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
it was he did it a couple times actually. I know
the one from
Warren
midfield on going left to right on the TV first quarter. Set up the first drive, the first touchdown.
I think that was Theo, but
Okay,
but yes, same thing. 16. I saw 16 of 21. I also saw 16 of 22 in other places. I don't know what exactly it was. I saw 21, 22 different places, but really accurate game from Clifford. And 2 of those incompletions were drops. The one that Harrison Wallace had, and I was like, it was just a 7-point game at that point, and it was on a third down. That guy's kind of like, oh boy, maybe Utah sticks around, but they got past that. Utah really, if Cam Rising didn't play at all, I think Penn State would have had 13 sacks. He slipped out of about 5 in the first half that any other quarterback, not named CJ Stroud, maybe that is not slipping out of those. And then they got to the other guy in the second half. Then a lot of them got home.
Yeah, Cam Rising really wasn't passing the ball at all against us. Most of the first downs were coming off of running plays. I don't know. We couldn't stop the run in the first half. They were just getting chunk plays. And then once they got the run going, they'll just do a read option, and he would just have a wide open lane for 10, 12 yards. We just couldn't stop that. Luckily, he got hurt. Well, not luckily, but he happened to get hurt. Right. And that kind of ruined it for them.
He was only 8 for 21, 95 yards. The other dude actually had many more yards on fewer attempts. But he was 9 for 56 rushing, which did a lot, right? Like you said, they got a lot of first downs with him scrambling. And then the one where he, had a really good run is the one where he went out. And they didn't say what his injury was, I don't think, or did they?
He had been dealing with a knee problem, I think, during the season, and the time, I mentioned this in the pregame show, 36 days between the game for Penn State. It was 29 for Utah because they played in the Pac-12 championship, but still it's 4 weeks. So I think he healed up, and then he re-aggravated it on that play.
Yeah,
I was watching it from several bars in Mexico, so I didn't hear any of the commentary.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was hurt at first. He stood up and he just fell right back down when he tried to walk, and then didn't really say anything. He just came back out with street clothes and a brace on. So
As he was walking off the field is when other dude Bryson Barnes threw the interception to.
Oh, the eye roll, his eye roll walking the line. That was kind of funny. That was funny to see. I mean, it sucks for him. It sucks for Cam Rising. Like it
does.
He's a baller. I feel like he's kind of getting on my nerves during the game because he was slipping out of all those sacks. But I think if he was on Penn State, we would all love him the same way. I think a lot of people came around to Clifford at the end of that game on Monday. I think a lot of people gladly ate some crow on him. The one thing I will say, Rising, as you mentioned, was not passing the ball well. And if it wasn't for Kalen King having to pee or whatever he had to do, where he had to go to the locker room on that play. It was like a 50-yard bomb, and it set them up for a touchdown on I think it was a 3rd and long or a 2nd and long. And
no, it was 3rd and long.
3rd and long. I mean, that kind of, in a way, kept them in the game when maybe it shouldn't have, because I think Penn State goes down, scores there. It's 21-7 going in a half. And, I don't know. I think in a way, they got a little lucky that Kalen King had some kind of problem that cost him to miss that drive, because that would have been him on that ball, and that ball was very underthrown the way it was. So I think Utah got away with one there. But
yeah, I mean, even after that play, it was like a run play, and then like they scored, and like Marquise Wilson also missed that tackle.
Yeah, he had a rough game.
Kalen King's really good at open field tackling, and even on that like one pass that Marquise like fell, like that was the chuck up pass. Like he got rocked on that play too.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have been completed, but like that's just unlucky. Had to take a pee like Clifford during Purdue.
Yeah, or whatever his problem was in that game.
But that dude, Devon Valet had 100 yards receiving. See that?
Yeah, I mean, he was the one. He was one I talked about that I thought was gonna step up with Kincaid out. I mean, because realistically, Kincaid was 1/3 of their passing offense from the year.
Yeah.
Like literally 1/3 of Rising's completion, 1/3 of his yards, 1/3 of his touchdowns all went to Kincaid. So that's serious production to lose for. And I think it kind of showed, but
Brenton Strange had no catches. I just noticed that. That's sad.
It looked like he was on a snap count. He already declared for the draft. Yeah. I think when you have he did. When you have Johnson and Warren who can do similar things, there's no reason. He wants to play to be out there with his guys. I respect it, but I also think they protected him in a sense, and I don't think there was much of a drop off because those two other guys are very good too.
They are, and they're going to be good next year. And that room was stacked even more, right, coming into next year. So,
I mean, Brenton Strange, when he was out there, I mean, you knew blocking. That dude just rocks everybody when he blocks. He's definitely he improved so much, and you can tell. It's crazy.
Yeah, he did.
I feel like a little bit of a Keandre Lambert-Smith breakout game too. I mean, not just the whatever 88-yarder. Right? He did some other things too. That one, that rollout that you mentioned, Alec. He was screaming for the ball there and got it and had some yards after the catch. Really good game by him on just three catches.
Yeah, but I kind of saw him. I don't know. He looked like him. I guess himself. Like he was really into this game. Like he was the one that threw the towel on the sideline when the Utah player went to get his towel. He had the whole fake the hamstring celebration on the touchdown.
That one I didn't understand though. Is there a reason for that or no?
I don't know. I don't know what the thing was there, but he had the what's a Ute video that went kind of viral. The Utah fans didn't like that one. And he also had a monster block on a run play too, where he drove a guy into the end zone. Without Parker, I think a lot of people have been talking about this receiving room, and it looks like he took that personal because he was feeling himself out there and not just catching the ball, just being there.
I like him very much. I can't wait till he comes back. Now, the throw in the towel thing, there was a couple of clips on it on Twitter, and then the replies are how classless it is and stuff. I don't. Who cares, right? Is that a big deal? And that's Curtis Enos's kid too, which is the other.
It was kind of funny,
right? Yeah. So I think if you're going to troll anybody, you do it to him, when not people.
I mean, at that point, that game was really chippy.
It was.
They were talking, and then that happened. That was a couple plays after, and I just saw he just picked it up and chucked it. And I mean, Lambert, that game, I think that's the most confident I've ever seen him play. Like he was he was chirping the corners that were guarding him. Like he was out there to show the world, like Penn State, that he can step up next season for us.
I think he's my favorite player now.
Yeah, him confident, I think, is big for this team next year. Yeah, next year. I doubt he'll be back the year after, but yeah, getting him back is huge. They got the Devin Carter, the North Carolina transfer at receiver, who's 6'4". They offered a guy from Bowling Green who's 6'7". Like they're trying to get bigger there. Maybe they bring in one more. I still think that happens, but Lambert Smith kind of showed that, like, yeah, I'm here too, and that was refreshing to see from him for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Wallace still played well. Like he had a drop, but like
he had that one drop. That was a bad drop.
He still played, like, he didn't play bad, I didn't think. Like, I mean, the drop was bad, but like as Penn State wide receivers, like the past few years, we've had wide receivers that dropped a lot of balls for Clifford. I mean, especially the 2019 seasons, like the one I remember the most was like KJ and Pat, and it was like Daniel George and like Justin Shorter, and they would just drop every pass.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I think he didn't show like he could be a great wide receiver too, but like I think he could be a key role player for us if we need him to be.
Yeah, I mean, you need 4 or 5
You're talking about Harrison Wallace
receivers.
Now, right? Not,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, by that.
Yeah, I mean, you need 4 or 5 wide receivers, I think, to realistically get through a season. 4 or 5 good ones, not just in general. But so yeah, having Wallace, if he's the 4, if he's the 5, or if he's the 3, I think that's fine. He has some athleticism. I think, like Lambert Smith, kind of showed, Wallace could use some confidence too. Maybe it'll help. I think those 2 guys have a lot of tools to work with. It's just, about the light clicking in a way, which happens with a lot of players we see after, like, Mike Gesicki was the same way. All the tools in the world in the first 2 years, he couldn't catch a cold. And then he turns into like the premier tight end in football for 2 years. Like, it happens. And it looks like it happened with Lambert Smith, and hopefully we get that with Wallace going into next year too.
And then you got other guys. I mean, like Caden Saunders barely played, right? He could be really good. Let's see. Christian Driver just switched over to wide receiver towards the end of the year. Maybe he's going to be really good. I don't know. His dad was.
I mean, the bloodlines are good there.
Yeah, I know, right? So, like, there's other guys in this team. And then, like you said, if they get a couple of 1 or 2 more transfers, Cephas, rumor has it, maybe go finish his degree at Kent State and then come out again, which would be probably the best thing for him.
Yeah.
We'll see.
This team, like the offense next year, if Drew Aller is Sean Clifford, like they're going to the playoffs. And if he's really good, like maybe if he's Sean Clifford level, they're top 10 again. But if he's, what he is advertised to be, then they can go undefeated. Yeah,
I think they showed a lot in this game. I mean, we didn't even really talk about Singleton, the monster 88-yard run he had where he just blew by everyone. I was laughing earlier where Chris Fowler calling the game saying Singleton's in a foot race and everyone's 10 yards behind him, and I'm like, who's he in the foot race? I'm sorry.
Okay, let's talk about it. So I read that comment like the minute I was getting on the plane.
I mean, it was half tongue in cheek,
some guy John something or other said with the whole defense, you idiot, or something like that. That guy, he doesn't mind calling people out, I think, sometimes.
No,
not at all.
No.
He called me an idiot for saying that if Penn State was in any other conference, they would have made the playoffs. So, which I believe.
Yeah, outside of the SEC, I think it would have been close, like very close.
But,
yeah. I mean, TCU. I think honestly that TCU in the Big 12. I think that would be a good game still, because like they're a pass heavy team. Like we could. I mean, Quinn Johnson's kind of insane now. That'd be a nice matchup. Quinn Johnson versus Joey Porter.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a close one. I think. I don't know. That would have been.
They would have won the ACC. They would have won the Pac-12 going away.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and probably the Big 12. Well, no, TCU's in the Big 12, but yeah, it would have been closer in the Big 12.
I mean,
yeah. Jair Brown is another guy I want to touch on. Probably could have left after last year. Had, I think, 70-something tackles, 6 interceptions last year. Was a little bit in Jaquan Brisker's shadow. Comes back, monster game in the Rose Bowl, interception, sack and a half, wins Rose Bowl defensive MVP. Another guy, really happy to see him kind of go out on a high note like that, get that award, get this win, because he was a guy who didn't maybe necessarily need to come back, decided to, hopefully gets, drafted relatively high. I think he'd be a day 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean, he came back. I mean, arguably close to Brisker with his Penn State career. I mean, then we were talking about it the other day. I mean, he's had I think he's like one of the most underrated Penn State players in history.
Mm-hmm.
Like his career that he's had for us, he's been a key player. He's just a great football player and he's a great leader also. Like he's a leader on that defense. I know he's gonna have our safeties ready for like next season, just with like his leadership and how he plays and how he like his work ethic. So I think he was a big player for us. I mean, I'm just thank God he came back, honestly. Like he was great on the defense. I like how Manny Diaz like schemed him up for blitzing this year because he was actually nice at blitzing. I know I saw the clip where like he broke the U on his like knee, and he like broke the lineman with like one move. That dude straight fell on his ass and just went to him and tackled him. So that's pretty sick.
4.5 sacks, 4 picks this year.
Yeah, not bad for safety.
Very productive year. Yeah,
not bad at all. So is he better than Brisker was last year? I think they're very similar, right?
They are very similar. Yeah. They both. I mean, that was that's good scouting too. Both of those guys are from Lackawanna Community College.
Yeah.
Get both of them. That's a good pipeline to have, and Franklin's taking advantage of it. So having both those guys,
it's one of the best, at least defensively, it seems like junior college programs in the country, right? They're very good that way. And again, the offensive guys really haven't panned out. There's Paris Palmer,
the receiver,
Blessing, right?
Two receivers. I'm trying to remember their names.
Norville Black was one. I can't remember the other one.
There was a super tall guy, I think, and like a short guy. Right? Norville Black was the short guy, and I think there was another guy that was taller. But then there was Anthony Wiggin was the other lineman who didn't play.
Yeah.
But defensive guys have been really good.
Yeah,
and LeVar Arrington's son plays there now. So
and Tyrese Mills went there too, right?
And that's who it is. Yeah, we just got him.
Yeah, he signed last year. I think he redshirted this year. Yeah.
Do they offer Arrington's son? I think
I don't think they did.
They haven't yet. No, they didn't, but should they?
No. I haven't watched them, so I have no clue.
I don't think so. A lot of this, another guy who had a big game, Curtis Jacobs, 2 sacks. If he comes back, I mean, this linebacker group looks a lot better, I think. And, I'm led to believe he is coming back because I think if he wasn't, they would have been offering linebackers in the transfer portal and stuff, and we really haven't seen any of that. So I think, that's something you kind of look at if you're like, are these guys coming back or not? If they're not offering any linebackers, I'm led to believe Jacobs is coming back.
So then the only hole you have is middle linebacker, sort of, again, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if one of these young guys steps up or if Kobe King. Yeah. Dom
DeLuca, now a scholarship player, so maybe him. Elsden is back. Elsden must be back, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe he takes a step forward too. I don't know. It's a deep unit, right? I mean, maybe the big hole going into next year, I think, still is a little bit on the defensive line, just because of like losing PJ. Depending,
we still have a few people that could leave. I don't think Isaac leaves. Like he said, he could, but like I don't see him leaving. Like Curtis said, possibly, but like also I saw like what about Curtis Jacobs? Like they interviewed him after the game, and they're like, what are the expectations for this team next year? And he's like, national championship or bust. And like, he's like, and they're like, how does that sound to you? He's like, that entices me. Like, I think there's no way he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Like, I still like if he goes to the draft, I don't like he's a good linebacker, but like if he stays another year, I think he can be a great linebacker. So like, I think another year could help him a lot to rise his stock.
Yeah, he was really good his freshman year, right? And then kind of took a little bit of a step back, and then he's just been overshadowed by. Carter Abdul Carter.
So yeah, I mean, pretty good game. I don't know what else to say. I think a lot of the critics had to go away because Clifford played pretty much perfect. I think I saw he had like the highest PFF grade of any quarterback in a bowl game. so far.
Yeah.
Just monster game from him. Glad he got to go out the right way. Glad he got the standing O thing, the call the timeout, sub him out. That was cool. That was good to see. It was good to see him, happy at the end of the game because it kind of looked like there was a lot of stress that just came off of him right at that moment. It's like been through a lot of BS, but ended up on top pretty much, which was nice to see.
Finally, top 10 win to end his career.
Yeah.
It was like 0-7. I mean, to be fair, 4 of them went to Ohio State. So, it's not like many of our quarterbacks really ever beat Ohio State anyway.
Right. Except JJ McCarthy. But
you said 0-7, so 4 against Ohio State, 1 against Michigan.
Yeah.
I guess that BS Iowa one counts.
Yeah, Iowa.
Yeah. So you're missing one more.
Was Minnesota in the top 10?
They were 19th, I think.
Yeah, they were very. Yeah, that's why they were all pissed off. Yeah, if they would, if they would have been ranked like 6th, I think we would have won. But
yeah,
I can't. I don't know what the other one was.
I must. Oh, jeez. Oh well. Yeah, ended on a big note this time anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good to see.
It was really good too, and it's just like it's one of those things where it was just like against Auburn. Like he was super dialed in and very focused, and you knew he was going to have a good game. And I don't know. He tended through his career, I think, always to kind of play a little bit to the level of competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that Ohio State game where, and I know you and I went over this a lot in the recap that week, where he started off kind of bad with the 2 picks. Then he played out of his mind. And then it just kind of came down to the fact that the 3rd string right tackle was going up against the former number 1 player in a recruiting class. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it happens. And, Wallace is back next year. Fashanu's back next year. Offensive line looks really good. So I don't think we'll have that problem next year for Aller.
We got 2 5-stars coming in. We'll have depth.
Yeah. Alec will never forget that they're coming in because he did not mention them in the 9 deep the other day, and some dude got pissed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love nothing.
That guy gets mad when you don't mention like the 5th string running back. It's like Singleton and Allen are so good. He's like, but you forgot about blah blah blah, the walk on. I'm like,
forgot about Tank.
And
throat's drying up.
Yvonne Lee coming back, we guess.
I mean, I don't really. If you want
transfer,
I don't really see a reason why you should. To be honest, I mean, if I'm in his shoes, like, I'm leaving if I want to actually go to the NFL. Like, I see Allen and Singleton taking most of the snaps again. They both just showed they're better.
Yeah, I agree. I just, but then that makes that unit very thin, right? If one of those guys goes out, you want one of those guys to be a workhorse for a whole game.
I do like the idea of having him around if it, like shit hit the fan with one of those two, late in a big game. I
mean, we got Wallace, Cameron Wallace. He's like a very low rated guy who I watch his highlights and he looks like he can be very good. We got Montgomery, but he tore his ACL, so
he's coming off.
You don't know how good he actually is going to be after that. I mean, it's an ACL tear. It's always, you never know.
Yeah, I think he does come back, and I've seen some things. Penn State's doing better with those NIL funds, and I think if someone like Keybon Lee, Curtis Jacobs, Adisa Isaac is back next year, Oliver Fashanu came back. He was a projected 1st-round pick. Clearly, they're doing something right there. So I think that's good to see if those guys do come back.
We did not mention yet Storm Duck.
Oh,
the best name addition to any team, I think, in the country so far. He's also an all ACC cornerback, so that's pretty good too. But
him and King Mack in the secondary.
Dying already.
Storm Duck and King Mack. We need more single syllable names, like first month names.
Yeah. All right. So last thing I wanted to get to because I'm losing my voice.
Wow.
This T-shirt. What do you guys think of it?
Disgusting. I'm not buying it. I mean, if we're winning the Rose Bowl, it should be a lot better than that.
And that's a real Nike shirt too, huh? It's like the swoosh is just kind of thrown on there as an after effect. So from the top down, right? Like the top looks like a bowling alley, and that's stupid. Like that, the way bowl is spelled there is literally the same way it is in the bowling alley down the street from us. The champs bit is It reminds me of like a 1980s video game, and I can't really think of what it is, but that's a disgusting font. Like there's like 6 fonts on here.
Yeah.
The Nittany Lion logo is in some sort of weird kind of pseudo psychedelic, like what's the TCU like psychedelic frog thing?
Yeah.
Hypno Frog, and then Fight on State just randomly thrown there. Then like it's just like somebody took clip art, right? Like threw a bunch of clip art on it.
It really feels like the Rose Bowl had a marketing team of like 5 people, and everyone came up with a different design scheme, and they didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And they didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and they combined them. That's
what's really it on the bottom? Like. Does it really say stuff on the bottom there? I think is that like printed on the shirt?
I think it's like logos and stuff. Okay. It looks like it says something incorporated.
Oh, God, that PSU little circle gear thing, that's stupid. That is horrible. And like Nike, for Nike to put their name on that is really, really, really bad.
Yeah, that was the most interesting championship shirt I've ever seen. It was really funny. And then compared to the one last year, which I don't have a picture of, it literally is just like it looks like this, where it said like Ohio State champs, and it was like a block on a plain shirt. So I don't know what they did this year, but interesting. I guess, last Rose Bowl where I think there is a champion, so maybe they wanted to go out in style.
Yeah, sure. That wasn't style, but going out with the bangs, and everybody will remember how bad the shirt is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny when it comes out that like the local special needs kids design that shirt, and everybody's like ragging on them. You're gonna feel terrible.
Yeah, we're gonna look bad.
Yeah, we are gonna look bad.
You think they would have said that ahead of time? So
I want to see what the Utah shirts look like, though. I guess they're similar, and just like instead of blue and gray everywhere, there's red and white. And
well, I guess we could go to like a Salvation Army in LA. You might be able to find them, but. They're probably there.
That was disappointing. That was a funny thing to see. Hopefully,
it's funny at least. Like I don't know. It's kind of you laugh about it.
This shirt's nice. I see. This is like This says Rose Bowl. It doesn't say champs though because it was
Yeah, but you can apply it. Like if you watch the game,
Sure. Or you could just glue it on yourself. So
yeah,
it looks like what they did on the other. There is a lot on the back too, actually. Which anyway.
Nice. All right, guys. We're gonna come back next week because we have to go over our bowl picks, which I haven't checked in a week, but I don't think it's good.
We got one right. I know we got Penn State right.
We got Penn State Utah right. We had a really bad day.
I'll give you $10 if you want. Okay.
Yeah. No, we had a really bad day because we pretty much picked against every team that we hate as Penn State fans, and they all had 14-point comebacks on the same day. Notre Dame, Pitt, and Maryland. And after that happened, I was like, yeah, we're done. So we'll go over it together next week. Nelly said we're going to do it Monday. Monday's the national championship, so we are not doing it Monday.
It is.
We should do it after that because we can.
Yeah, we could do it like 12 o'clock at night if you want.
No, I don't mean directly after that. I mean like some days after that. But Nelly's going back to school, huh?
Yeah. So we also, we'll find time.
We'll find time. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. This is fun. Thanks for watching, everyone.